people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
Oh, bloody hell.
The critical
Let's
thing-
find something to do. With the majority of us in lockdown, it meant that most of us felt bored and alone during these times. Many of us turned to hobbies. In fact, 70% of people turned to a new hobby or interest, such as maybe playing an instrument, doing a spot of cooking, or even making things with fitness.
Myself, you ask? Well, I got into this. This is Warhammer 40k. This is a game where you build, paint, and battle your incredible miniatures against one another. Before we learn the game, who makes it? The company behind Warhammer is a company called Games Workshop, which was first founded in 1975, where it created boards for games such as backgammon and chess. Then later, Games Workshop became the exclusive importer for the newly created role-playing centered game, Dungeons & Dragons. Due to Dungeons & Dragons becoming a hugely popular game, Games Workshop wanted to capitalize on its popularity by creating a company called Citadel in 1981, where the company would create and manufacture miniatures and paint to allow customers to physically represent themselves into their epic quests and adventures. This made Citadel a huge success, as miniatures were flying off the shelves. People would queue for hours just to get into the store. This meant people had a huge surplus of models. Games Workshop tackled this issue in 1987 by creating the first book in which it showed customers how to take their massive collections and battle them against an opponent in epic battles. This, in a way, was the birth of Warhammer, and soon to be the birth of Warhammer 40k. Think of Warhammer as a real-life strategy game, except on a much larger scale. You have Tyranids, Tau, Space Marines, Eldar, Blood Angels, Drakari, Necrons, Death God, and a multitude of other factions, as the game's scope is endless. It's still growing, in fact. There's over 900 different models in Games Workshop's catalogue, and that doesn't include the multitude of different weapon options you can give these models, which means the opportunities are endless. Due to the mass success that these models have sold out, Games Workshop is officially recognised as one of the fastest growing companies on the London Stock Exchange. As of 2018, the annual revenue of the company reached a staggering £170 million. During the pandemic, Citadel found itself to have an exceptional increase in growth, meaning it was able to pay back its government awarded furlough, which counted in the millions of pounds. Showing that Citadel's core values as a company is not just to its employees or customers, it's just to community as a general. To find more about this community, I decided to talk to some members of it. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice things where you never know what is going to happen until you start to play. There's a lot of dice involved, and you can have a perfect plan, and then suddenly the dice are against you on that one roll. The first time that I learned about Warhammer was about 10 or so years ago at this point. I had a friend and I went around his house and he just got into the game and he had all of his models on the table. I had no idea what they are, and we played a game not knowing any of the rules, using like cups and stuff for scenery, and 10 years later, here we are, incredibly invested into the hobby. So my favorite thing about Warhammer is the flexibility of the hobby. I'm quite an arty person, so I love to paint and build models. I like to mix different parts of models together to make my models unique. But at the same time, I've got friends who hate painting, but they can still get very invested into the hobby without having to worry about that side. And I like the fact that then my models get put onto a table and they get used in a game. It's very satisfying to see a person that you've painted up to look absolutely ace die on the board on the first turn and cry afterwards. But yeah, it's the investment and kind of the process of it, I think, overall.
Initially, me and Tom were only meant to have a 20 to 30-minute interview. It ended up becoming a much longer conversation where we talked about many things, not just Warhammer, life in lockdown, struggling with the pandemic in general. It allowed us both to vent, and not many hobbies, not many things in general allow you to come together with people in such a way. This is why I truly believe hobbies and interests during such divisive times have truly saved certain people.